Welcome back to a brand new episode of the Who What Now Gaming Podcast. Podcast for consumers by consumers, where we ask the questions: Who are you? What got you into gaming? What type of gamer are you now? I'm your humble host, Josh Stewart, and today we are met by BLKScorpio.
How's it
How
going?
are you today?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Now, do I have to answer all those questions in order? What got me into
Every,
gaming? Who am I?
every single one of them. We're
Yeah.
gonna actually dive into that. I do want to start today. Obviously, as you can tell by the title of this episode, we're gonna be talking about Silent Hill 2. But for starters, yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is BLKScorpio, or you could just call me Matt. I've been I've been into gaming a lot. The first game that got me into gaming actually was Diablo way back when. We're talking about Diablo 1 like 1998, like on the
Nice.
PC. We're talking about like the good old days. Back when Apple was starting to become what it is now between the Macintosh computers and everything. So
Yeah.
like we're going back old school. Um, but I became a console player, not a PC player. I've been gaming on consoles now for over 30 plus years. Um, I've hit the milestones with PlayStation for its 30th. I've hit the Xbox's milestone for the 20th on certain games, Battlefield, Call of
Wow.
Duty, everything. Like I've been around. I even got the achievements. I got the collections, the collectibles. Like I've been around during their milestones.
Right.
I'm more of an RPG now and shooter gamer. So any RPGs, Final Fantasy, any horror genres, Silent Hill 2, Resident Evils. You'll see me dabbling, try to collect trophies, try to be a completionist. Shooters, I stick to like now Fortnite, but only the zero builds. But Call of Duty, Apex, Gears of War was another one that got me into it with the Xbox. Everything way back when.
Hell yeah. Yeah, that is definitely well, Gears of War was fantastic, especially if you were there like around when like it first came out. Like
Which I was.
it was just the OG game,
Yeah.
and then you got to, experience the first game, enjoy it for what it was, and then like be a gamer when they were releasing like Gears 2 and then finding out that Gears 3 is happening, and you're like, "Oh, this is like a direct like continuation of the game," and like being able to enjoy that story for like what it was organically.
Until the downfall of Judgment, and then
Yeah.
after what was his name, Blazinski or whatever, after he left, and
Yeah.
it went to the coalition. Then now you have 4, 5, and E Day. Uh,
Yeah. I'm still
yeah,
a huge fan and supporter of like the first 3 games.
yeah,
Judgment I did play, and I didn't enjoy it as much. But
no,
like I got it. Like I get what they were trying to do with it, but I don't know, it just didn't have the same feel. And Gears 5 was the last one that I just actually like sat down and played, and I don't even remember if I even completed it. Like it felt more of like it felt like more like if Gears was trying to be like God of War, and it kind of just didn't. It was like very like here's a story, but we're
yeah,
gonna be more, driven towards the new generation of Gears instead
hmm
of the like what the story itself was. Even though at the end of Gears 3, you're like, I mean, this is a good ending, but like you don't have to continue if you didn't want to. You know what I
no,
mean?
exactly. It could have been its own. This is your standalone trilogy.
Right.
That was it.
Yeah.
Marcus, Dom, the works. That's it. That's their story. Now
Yeah.
it's like the OGs have really nothing to say. That's why they went back to E Day, and they're trying to
Mm-hmm.
recapture people. And it's like even the multiplayer. Um, I didn't get hardcore until Gears 3, and it's like I hit the 2000 mark, like level 2000, and I'm going up against people that are like 6,000. It's like the dedication is there when you could say, "Hey, I'm in the triple digit numbers." And it's like
Absolutely.
there's my life. But when you have like the thousand gamer scores that the entire story and everything is 100% completed, you're just laughing at that point.
Yeah. No, I mean, I didn't get to that point, but I mean, I get it. Like,
Hmm
I, uh, I, I enjoyed it. again for like what it was. I didn't get like super into it. Um, but I did enjoy that they were trying to like kind of like expand and go into like the multiplayer like kind of thing.
Yeah,
I liked what they were doing. I liked that. I don't know. I think it was the mechanics of like Gears games. I didn't feel like for me personally translated super well to like a multiplayer. But that being said, when they introduced like Gears multiplayer, I wasn't a big like multiplayer shooter like gamer at the time.
right.
So that was still very like new to like cuz I've always just enjoyed the like the RPGs, the just I liked, having a sword on my back and going on a long adventure. Like that was just the gamer that I was at the time. So like when Gears was like and now we have multiplayer, I was like, well, this is what is this? Like it didn't hit for me the way that I thought it would have.
So this is where it's going to get interesting then, because like I've grown up with the shooters, I've grown up in the competitive, I've grown up with the esports, like the bloodlust for that kill, that drive, that determination to
Mm-hmm.
like we're a squad 5 on 5, no bunny hopping, no nothing. Like it's the raw. If you know how to maneuver, if you know how to, glitch slide across half the map while you're dodging and shooting somebody with a sawed off shotgun and the lancer just going. So it's gonna be interesting. Like you have your take, and then there's me, and it's like, and then I just started slowly delving into the world into the world of RPGs over the time, and because the shooters are just becoming lackluster now, it's like
Mm-hmm.
if it's not fast or you're bunny hopping and like too many quote unquote cheaters or form mechanics that just don't work, and it's just
Yeah,
yeah.
no, absolutely. I think the honestly the only like shooters that I really enjoy like multiplayer wise anymore, well, is got to be like Black Ops 6, and it's only because like I've always been like a Call of Duty like fan, but for the fact that like I've always had friends who like played it, so it's always been like a team event, and now it's more of like a hey, you've had a game that's been going so well for so long, and then the last like 2-3 games like you've kind of just shit the bed. So like I would really like to see like a good game, and then
Well,
out of nowhere like Black Ops 6 actually like holds up to what we've been kind of expecting, and not like expecting like above and beyond, just like expecting as in like a working fully operational game,
well,
and
that's a funny
it's
thing. Sorry, that's
no,
the
you're
funny
good.
thing because like if I met you earlier,
Hmm.
I came from Battlefield, so you could tell already where the war is between
See,
us.
but I loved Battlefield.
Yeah, like I strictly came from like 1942 to Battlefield 3 to Battlefield 4, the dogfights of 4 and 3.
Hmm.
I came from all that. Like I said, I hit the milestone of that, and then I didn't get into Call of Duty until um until I met everybody in my community, especially my mod. She got it. She got her community to let me join them, and so I was basically the only Canadian amongst the Dutch. So you could
Nice.
imagine that like I have to hold my own, always placing in the top three against people that are freaking amazing in Call of Duty, and I'm like, oh my god, I just came from Battlefield. I'm like, and then Apex, and like, how do I hold up now into this COD community? And then I find out, hey, guess what? You've hit the milestone for COD.
Hmm.
Well, she didn't, and I'm like, how is it that I came from Battlefield hitting that milestone to being a COD gamer too? So it's like I've bridged the gap with the two, and it's so funny. It's like, and then so if I were to like let's say call you up if I knew you way back when, I'd be like, bro, let's go sniping, because I was I
Yeah.
was I was the number one sniper like way back when.
Yeah, I loved like I started with Battlefield 3, and yeah, I loved doing like any time that I would get a chance to do like any form of like dogfights, I would. But it was also like that time when like Battlefield 3 was like you could, but if somebody beat you to it, like tough shit. Like that's you
That's
get on
it.
the ground, buddy, go for it.
Yeah.
And so
Do
like that was
do
where
yeah. do
that was where I
work.
started getting my love for like, sniping and stuff and figuring out. But like the thing about Battlefield games is that like bullet drop is a real thing, and so
Hmm.
like you have to learn like not only like mechanics, but you also have to learn like basic physics and just
Yep.
try to like figure these things out. And it's super cool. It's a really really fun experience, and like I wish there was more not hype, but like I wish there was more of an interest to make the games bigger and better and more I guess expansive. Like, but then you do get to a point where there's you make so much of the map destructible, you make so many things in a single map, you make a map big enough to hold like, what was it, like 30v30, and it's
No,
it's like,
no. It was one. It was 64 and 128 versus 128 and 64.
oh
It is still the
yeah,
biggest game still, and until they kind of shit the bed with 2024. I mean,
yes,
they tried, but
yeah.
that's where like I'm bringing it up because you said until Call of Duty shit the bed itself, like Activision over the years, it's like Blizzard over the years, it's like Frostbite over the years. There you
Oh yeah, no,
go.
that's true. Yeah, they've definitely all, yeah.
Sorry, not
Coming
Blizzard.
from,
EA and Frostbite.
yeah, it's one of those things where like because I was introduced to Call of Duty at the very end of like Black Ops 1's like life cycle.
Yeah.
So I got to like when I jumped into Black Ops 1, I jumped in with all of the DLC packs and like everything that everybody was like waiting for. And so I learned Call of Duty with Black Ops 1, jumping directly then into the release date of Black Ops 2, and then I've played every Call of Duty since then, enjoying them, becoming like a zombies fan, enjoying the zombies community, which was kind of surprising to me to find out that like the zombies community is huge, and it's very how do I say it? It's so much less toxic than like the multiplayer community, because it's you get into the multiplayer community and you're gonna find amazing people, but it's almost guaranteed that you're gonna find one person who's just like, get good scrub, kind of thing, and you're like, that's not really helpful, whereas you go into in like the zombies community and everyone's like, this is what I found, tell me if you found this and if you found these things over here, and then like eventually people are just working together to like solve full like speed runs and stuff, and to the point where like if Black Ops 6 came out, the game was out for like, or like zombies was out for like a weekend, and we already had like a world record, which was insane.
Yeah, that community, yeah, like you were saying, but the you kind of got to reverse with the toxic community because like the multiplayer community is very toxic. You'll
Yeah.
like you said, you will find that one. Just it's not get good scrub. You'll find that one that will help you. The
Oh
entire
yeah,
lobby
yeah,
is
yeah, I
the
see what you're
entire
saying.
lobby
Yeah,
is more like
yeah,
if
everyone
if you're
sucks.
not
You're
good, you're not
finding
playing.
the
Yeah,
yeah, you've got to find
like I
the
remember like
one diamond in the rough.
yeah, like I said, that reminds me of Gears. I've been around that community for like a long time. That's why when with Gears, if you can't play, then you're not good for our server. Like get out. You're not going to be
Yeah.
on our team. Then COD. Like I've been in those. Then Apex, and then when Apex started becoming like that, and it's like okay, it's the same. I've heard it all.
Do 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 do. My life, it is in shambles. No one knows where I've been. But you've been here the whole time. But only you. You are the only one that knows. This is true. This is true. Oh, hello. I am wasn't slowly going insane. What are you talking about?
I have no clue.
All right. So we have um we had a small interruption there, which is totally great. because I feel like this is a perfect time to transition into Silent Hill 2, which is something that I have been wanting to pick your brain for quite a while, and this is why I wanted to have you on the show in the first place. And that is that you made this game look so easy, and I did not. Uh, as some of you may know, I've played this game start to finish completely, entirely on stream, which was awesome. Um, but I think what I kind of realized there at the very end of the game, after we finished the game, like all the way, I realized that I was expecting the game to be more like quote unquote scary or like frightening. So I think I took so much longer to do things because I was expecting something terrifying to happen. And I think one of the problems is that, and but also not really a problem, is that I've played, or I have not played Silent Hill 2 like ever. So I did not play the original.
Right.
So when getting to the experience the remake, I got to experience the remake for, it's completely redone, vamped up beauty, but also I experienced the story entirely organically.
Yeah. So did I.
So
I'm in the same boat as you. Yeah. I'm in the exact same boat. I've never played the originals. That's why playing the game. Remember when you walked into the corner and you saw that blood on the floor, or you saw
yeah,
the broken videotape, and the screen would shake, and you're like, "What is this?"
right.
Those are tributes and homages to the original. That's what those are. It's if you find all of them in one playthrough, you get a trophy called Echoes of the Past. So it's literally a
Yeah.
tribute to the original. Those are what those flashbacks are.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and that was something that like right after I think after we like ended stream that night.
Hmm.
Um I was trying, I like, because I was just obsessed with just thinking about like the story and all the things that we found and everything, and I'm like, there were so many things that didn't make any sense, and those like finding those little key moments where like the screen would kind of static and shake a little bit, and I was like, what were those? Like, because they weren't like memories, they weren't like, but in a way they were just memories to the past, the old games. They
Right.
they had no significance to the game itself, and so it was really cool to be able to like kind of go back and see what they were like fully referencing and stuff. And there's one I did come across that is the original like what was the font called? It was the original like font they used in like the original Silent Hill 2 game. And I guess it became like a big meme where people were like, "Oh, this font is so basic, like it would never have been in like a town like this." And so to show like a nice little like like you said, like an homage to the original game, is that the sign was then replaced for the remake, but you can find that original sign from the original game in the barn, like in like the very first area, which I thought was still like it's such a fun like, hey, we fixed it, but also if you wanted to see that original joke, it's just in the barn. We just fixed it. We didn't actually remove it. We just moved it back there. And that like that alone felt very funny, like a goofy like, hey, this is, we get it, but we fixed it, but also it's still there.
Yeah.
I did come across, there's a hidden like, it's not really hidden. It's more like hidden in plain sight um Easter egg. It's in the menus, um, where under, what was it? It's under like I think it's like the difficulty setting or something like that. But it's like fourth or fifth one down. You can put a mask on, on our main character James, and the two masks are like, one of them's like a full like mascot helmet, but the other one's just the pyramid head, but made out of pizza boxes.
Yeah.
And I thought this was hilarious. Number one, with the amount of times that I went to the menu screen and never noticed it, but also just like that it was just in the game. Like you could play the whole game,
Mm-hmm.
quote unquote, discovering who Pyramid Head is, and then, but also just walking around with like the cosplay version made out of pizza boxes. You know what I mean? Like it was just a funny little like.
I believe that was actually a customization that you pre-order. You could also get like if you were to pre-order the game, they threw that in there.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's such a goofy
but
like the fact that they put it in there. It's very fun,
yeah,
but it doesn't go over the top, which is what like some games will do when you do the like I remember playing on like Nintendo 64 or like even like early like PS1 games. Like you get that you find that that secret area, that Easter egg that like fully takes you entirely out of the game, even though it's still like an homage to like the older versions and stuff. Like one of my ones that I remember the most is like playing Doom, or not Doom. Um, was it Doom? Might yeah, Doom. Yeah, if you play Doom and you go to like a certain area, behind one of like these like it's basically just a fake wall or like a hidden wall or whatever, and you break through it, everything becomes all super pixelated as like the old like PC like Doom games, and then you can just run around in like one of the original maps, and like that was just that is to the OGs who've played the game. It's such a fun little throwback, but at the same time, like, why would you not want to do it? It's what I mean. It's I don't know. It's not game breaking, and it doesn't take you out of the game, but at the same time, it's just a bonus that makes everything better, but also has nothing to do with what you're doing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, I know exactly what you're saying. It's yeah when you get those satisfactions out of games, like that's why, like I said, being a completionist and everything, you're driven to find everything good, bad, um, just all the trophies. It depends on what completionist you are. There's different degrees, different levels, but like um with this one, adding in the new game plus and knowing that on your first run through, no matter what, the stuff that you find, like I don't remember finding a small little chest. I don't remember finding the dog key. I don't remember finding
Mm,
anything of that. The chainsaw, like it was not there. The moment you
yeah,
beat the game, there's this, there's that, there's everything handed to you, and you're like, okay, what now? Like
yeah,
I just got out of one of my favorite levels of the game, and I'm like, so where the hell is the key? I have a chest, but I don't have the key. I'm like, but what did I miss?
right,
Do I have to beat it on New Game Plus again to finally get that key again? Like, I don't get it. Like, what am I running around with the box for? What's in this box now? I have a damn box in my inventory, but I have no key for it. I'm like, there has to be a key somewhere for it.
right.
And it's like, here we go.
Yeah, well, and I think that shows too how much of the you're like you you're more of the Indiana Jones of like the achievements and the platinums and stuff. Like there's something about completing a game to the fullest to you that is drives you and is exciting, and you're there for the adventure and stuff. Whereas like gamers like myself, I enjoy the game, and then I play the game as I follow that dopamine and stuff, and then I sometimes I just move on to the next game, and I enjoy like I've only platinumed like one game ever, and now I do want to platinum Baldur's Gate 3,
Hmm.
but I've also put in like half a thousand hours into this thing. I think we're approaching 600 hours into this like
I'm
game and
actually
stuff. And just
approaching about 700 to 800 hours in Baldur's Gate 3 myself.
Jesus,
I'm
Ah,
I'm
man, I
I'm
thought I played this thing a lot.
yeah, I'm going for it. I'm going for it myself too. And then all of a sudden I saw the
Yeah,
tactician. I'm like, that's gonna kill me. No, the honor mode is gonna kill me. I'm like,
yeah, honor
you know
mode.
what? We should both do the honor mode to like, you know what? Just get
I'm
that trophy
down.
over and done with.
I'm down. I'm so down. I like. I've been playing a bunch of the just like just testing out like certain builds,
Yeah.
and now like there's like the modding community's been brought to like the
Oh, I don't
the
play with
console and
mods.
stuff.
I'm the OG. I don't play with mods. I don't believe in the mods.
Yeah,
If you ask me
I
to put
never.
in a mod, I'm like, how do I even put in a mod? I don't even know how to even put a mod
Yeah,
in.
I've never ever done like the modding things. And then they made it simple and they were like, check out all these like hundreds of mods. And I'm like, there's only one that I'm interested in. And it's only because I want to see how easy the game becomes when you can have all of your companions play at the exact same time. And I have an answer. It's super easy.
Well, if that's the case, then they better give me the trophy on honor mode then, because I want that
Yeah,
platinum.
dude, it's like it is just so nice. I think I've been doing it a lot on stream. We just have every companion we could possibly have in our party. Each encounter, like all the encounters are about exactly the same length because there's just so many people, but at the same time like no fight has gone past like 2 full rounds. Like it's fun to like I love it. But I also I Baldur's Gate 3 has been such a favorite of mine. I've loved every single minute of it.
Yeah.
It truly has been
Um.
just incredible.
Actually, I got a little treat for you on that one.
Yeah.
Don't judge me.
Judgment free zone.
No, you can start judging. Um. All right. The first one is basically like the House of Hope. The
Are these your notes?
yeah, these are notes because look, I have everything in Act 1 that's you shouldn't basically miss to like um if you want
Wow.
the buffs, what you should be going as like because what I wanted to do was I have a YouTube channel. I just have nothing on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's been dormant for 8 years.
Yeah.
By the way, like I said, don't judge because it ain't done yet. Front,
There
back.
you go.
This is everything for every single quest that there is. I've completed every single thing. Like that lore book.
Wow.
Like I actually like printed everything out,
Yeah.
and then it's like I also have the maps. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, see that's fantastic. See, I no judgment wholeheartedly. I created so I have the book that I use here, which is just the notes I use for like every podcast episode and everything, but
yeah,
I also have full like test builds and stuff that I will use like religiously throughout like my goes and stuff, and as I play, if something happens where I'm like, oh, this quest over here I was able to get, this item, and this would definitely, work really well with this build,
yeah.
I will add it to the notes section and stuff. And
Exactly.
so
Like
I've got full like I've one like a front to back just full page of just like dedicated to this is the build, this is where you should be at, this is the level you'll be at, these are the items that you'll have, available to you, grab this at this location, do this over here, so that and then all of this is going to lead up to the day that I finally decide to do honor mode, because I
yeah.
don't want to do honor mode more than once. I want to start honor mode and finish honor
I just
mode.
want that
You know what
damn
I
trophy
mean?
too. I want to start and finish it myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want the and that's the one thing, because it's the hardest difficulty, and the only reward is the achievement and a set of gold dice.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly. And that's what I'm saying. Like that's where my notes come into. Like I have everything here from like things to know in Act 1, like the tiefling in the
yep,
armory at the grove, the reward you get from that tiefling, and then all the
yep.
perma buffs. Like don't forget, like if you want to see the invisibility, if you want to the Leviathar's blessing, if you want the anti-ethels, like I know we're kind of
Mm-hmm.
getting off topic, but I'm just saying like I got these notes I got these notes here that I wanted to do a Baldur's Gate 101 for people that have never played. Baldur's Gate was my
Yeah, you
first
should.
um it was my first turn-based game, like
Oh,
playing like
okay.
that. So I wanted to make a Baldur's Gate 101 for gamers or individuals like me who have never played it. And this is from my perspective of like someone who loves D&D, who loves the RPG style, but
Mm-hmm.
it's their first official like turn-based interaction game. Like I play Final Fantasy, but this is like the whole. And then once I got into it, there you go. There's your first 300 hours. Like my first 140 hours was my main character that I played. I
Yeah.
made 8 more right after that. So I did a Dark Urge run actually on stream from start to finish. And
Nice.
I will say that that's not for the faint of heart. Um,
Yeah, that one's rough. It's a little rough.
no. Like, do you like dogs? I killed it. Do you like owlbears? I killed it. Do
Well,
you
that's what I'm saying. Like
like?
you do full dark,
Yeah,
like full dark run.
I did a full dark run.
It's rough because like you have to like
Commit.
you're like, well, yeah, you have to commit. You just because I I'm a diehard Karlach fan.
Oh,
But Dark Urge,
you would have put me on a pitchfork because
yeah,
I had her head in a bag.
Dark Urge. We had to. I had because you have to make the bad decisions.
Oh, I did it.
So
I did it
like
while laughing. I'm like to me, I'm a Shadowheart fan, but like, it's funny because when the game first came out, I was always against Shadowheart, but then you fall in love with the
oh
character,
really?
and then you fall in love with the characters like, man,
Yeah,
this chick is useless. She does nothing. Blah 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 blah. And then you fall in love with her afterwards,
yeah.
and it's like, okay, now she's my bae, and that's it. Like, she's mine. Leave her. Oh, you like Carl? Like, okay, off with your head. I don't care. like you would have hated me. Like I hated
Yeah,
Will. I made sure he died.
dude, I'm still not fully a Will
Yeah.
fan.
Gale. He's been handless since Act One. Um, Scratch. I'm sorry, he's been gone since Act One. The owl.
Oh, not
The
Scratch.
owl bear.
Uh, sweet
Damelin.
owlbear cub.
Damelin. She's been dead. She's been gone. The other one's been captured. I took her robe. Yeah,
Yeah.
I went full dark. I made sure everybody who I must have left more corpses. Like, you know how like, oh, the blood of Bale shall walk the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made sure it's like, buddy, I made Bale look like a freaking saint.
Yeah, I am curious. There is at one point I'm going to do a run, whether it be a streamed run or just for shits and giggles on my own. But I am very curious if you can do an entire run through the game and leave like do the final battle, but knowing that before the final battle, like before the full end of the game, that you've murdered every character in the game. Like
I'm
I want to know if you can just go through and murder. Like I mean, there's going to be certain areas that are like so clustered that like you will have to do certain side quests beforehand because if you like in Act 3, if you just walk into the middle of the town and kill somebody, you have you're going to have an encounter that damn near almost shuts your game down because there's going to be so many turns, and it's like
yeah.
I'm curious to know if you can make it to the very end of the game and just like just murk everyone.
Yeah, I've been in that 2 hour long fight before.
Oh, dude. Yeah, and you know what? Even that one would still be less difficult than the first time we all discovered that haunted house before we like realized how you're supposed to actually take on that building. And like you're just walking around and everything's just because they don't show up and
Yeah.
they're biding their time, and so you're just sitting there. You're like, well, I guess I'll go make a sandwich for the next like 25 minutes while the AI decides what it's gonna do. You know, ugh,
Right.
it's the worst mission.
Yeah.
Um,
I know
but
we kind of got a little sidetracked there, but I'm saying
oh, I love it.
like it was a great example because like even the notes like to this game,
Mm-hmm.
to Silent Hill, like I have notes. Like I have my
Yeah.
own cracked codes doing this. Um Yeah, like I sat there, I did it. I did my first run on this on stream. Like, as soon as I heard Silent Hill 2 was coming out, I'm like, you know what? It's a game I've always had on the list. I know somebody who's played the originals, and they were always in my ear saying, "Oh, you should play Silent Hill 2. You love your horrors." I'm like, "Ah, Jesus Christ. Okay, fine. You know what?
Yeah.
Why not? I love my horror. I do love it. Alan Wake. I'm not gonna play Alan Wake, but you know what? It could be like Silent Hill. I don't care. It just I pick and choose now what I want to do. So Silent Hill 2, as soon as it
Hell yeah.
yeah, so Silent Hill 2, as soon as it comes out, I'm getting it. I got it.
Yeah.
It was a secret. It was a secret streaming game that I decided to hide from my community before we met. At this point, like I like to do that. I like
Nice.
to keep some people in the dark and just see if they're overhyped or not for me to start it.
Hell yeah.
And then when I heard about this, I'm like, okay, let's do this. We got right up until Halloween. 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours, done. 25 hours,
Dude,
done.
I know. It was I remember like spooky season shows up and I'm thinking, all right, I got to find some like good games, and it was like suggested that I play Until Dawn,
Yeah.
and I played it. I enjoyed it. Nothing in it scared me. Like I think maybe the one time that scarecrow pops up like kind of
Oh
gave me
yeah.
like a whoa shit, kind of thing. But other than that, like I enjoyed the game. It was a really cool game. I enjoyed the story. It didn't scare me. So I'm thinking, all right, well, let's find a notoriously like actual horror game. Silent Hill 2 is coming out. And honestly, I think I scared myself more
That's what
because
it
I was
is. So
expecting more things.
yeah, so that's another thing too. Again, there's not when nowadays when people are talking about horror and stuff like, oh my god, you're gonna scream, you're gonna shout. Depends on the players. How many horrors have you
Yeah.
played? Like, I love the horror genre. Like, I will recommend 100% the Dark Pictures anthology. That means House of Ashes,
Oh,
Little
I'm gonna
Hope,
be rocking through
yeah,
those. Yeah.
Little Hope, House of Ashes, Until Dawn, The Quarry, Until Dawn remake, which you've played, um,
Mm-hmm.
The Devil in Me. So when you start hitting that, you're not gonna find nothing scary to the point where it's like you're gonna shit your pants. No, these are all
Right.
psychologicals. They're considered psychological thrillers, just like movies. You're
Right.
not gonna sit there and be like The Exorcist, but in game form. You're gonna be like, well, The Exorcist isn't scary. Well, back in
Right.
'78, it was scary. Like back to when it originally
Yes.
came out to people.
That is a fantastic point. Yes, I'm really happy you said that
Yeah.
because I just had this conversation with my dad actually, and we were talking about. So here, just let me ask you this one here. Do you know Army of Darkness?
No. Oh wait. Are we talking about the video game?
No, Army of Darkness, like the movie,
I've heard of it, but I've never
uh,
seen it.
with Bruce Campbell.
I've heard of it, but
Um,
never seen it.
all right, definitely just from me to you, it's not a horror movie. It's just a very very fun like horror genre comedy.
Right.
But it spawned from the original what was it called? Not Evil Within, uh uh Evil Dead.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And so like the original, and then that movie there was a sequel, and then when they were filming the sequel, there were moments where like there were just it was just like funny moments would happen, or they were meant to be serious, but they like on film or as you were watching it, you're like, oh, that was actually kind of funny thing to say.
Yeah.
And then it transitioned into Army of Darkness, which is like basically just a horror comedy. But I bring that up because the original Evil Dead movie, when I watched it, and my dad showing me like the movies that that he grew up on and stuff. I grew up watching, what we have today, his version of horror movies wildly different than what we have today.
Right.
So when I watched this at like, 14 or whatever, he's like, I saw this in theaters. He's like, this scared the shit out of me. And I'm watching this movie. I'm like, what part of this was like horrifying,
Well,
But like, that's why like this like fully reminded me of what you said, where like it depends on like where we're at, and where like because the like you said, like the game when it originally came out was like nightmare fuel,
yeah,
whereas now it's not.
because it's been remade and everything has been kind of like
Right.
they've also gone easy over the generations, because back then there was no woke culture, there was no cancel culture, there wasn't like, it was all not as open as it is today. Like um even perfect example for me, like Halloween. You love that movie, Michael Myers. You think it's like, oh, she's screaming, she's terrified, she's yeah. When I was like in my early teens
Mm-hmm.
and I watched it, I'm not like, I could see why people were scared, because it's about a
Yeah.
person that, well, not that he can't die, but the fact that like you're in a time period which I've been around, the transition where they never had computers and cell phones like we do today, where you could
Yeah.
call somebody up right away. You literally
Right.
you still had the rotary phones, you still have the landlines where you got to go house to house. This is like, okay, let's just get it over with. I was born in 90, so you could tell I'm a millennial. I'm not a Gen Z, I'm not a Gen, like, I'm not a boomer, but I'm a millennial. So I'm in that transition period where the internet, I could read a map
Yeah.
physically, but I could take advantage of Google Maps.
Yeah.
I could still write without having to have an autocorrect, versus using the phone as a complete tool to do everything
Oh, a
for me.
thousand percent.
Like,
Yeah. I still remember like when we're a lot closer in age than you may think. We like I remember still like in school where we would have to like,
show
you
your
know,
work.
the chalkboard,
Yeah,
the inevitable like, you know, that
yeah.
we, you know, everybody, and like you just get the chills and stuff.
Like,
Now if anybody ever
what's
throws
two
that
plus
sound
two?
in there,
Yeah,
it's,
what's two plus two
yeah.
is four. But how did you get to the answer? Show it how you got to
Right.
your answer.
Show us the work, because we don't grade you on the answer. We grade you on how you got there.
Exactly, because if you
And you're
can't show
like,
how you got there, then that's cheating.
right, yeah.
Even if your mind is a human calculus, like, to anybody out there that's great with math, great with anything, but if you can't prove your work,
Yeah.
then like, okay, I could understand you could be a genius with a 160 IQ like Einstein, and he could get to an answer, but if you can't say how you got to that answer, people won't take you seriously. Like, they'll judge you right away. Like,
Thousand percent.
like you're cheating.
Yeah.
But you still arrived at the answer. But it's, they want to see your logics to prove, because maybe there's a flaw, maybe there isn't. Like, you have to see it to believe it. That's where we're at.
Yeah.
So this game, right away, I knew it's psychological thriller. I'm like, even the start, the moment you picked up the first letter, the moment you're walking, the moment you're at your car, right away in my head, I'm like, this is about him. Like,
Yeah.
and to say that like he's going back to a place that he got a letter from his wife who died 3 years ago. Like, I'm sorry, if somebody died 3 years ago, why am I going to a place looking for them? Like, right away, that's already a red flag saying, okay,
Yeah.
like, why are you looking for them if you know that they're dead?
See, and that's why I really, really, like, really enjoyed when you popped up in the stream,
Oh, I was happy that you were playing
because
it. I was like, yeah.
yeah, you and I felt like there's like, you know, there's those who are watching the stream because they know that I'm a jumpy person.
Hmm.
There's some who watch the stream because they know that I'm over analytical.
Right.
And then there's those like you who think like I do. And but I don't, sometimes I have to like let things soak in. So I'll just pause stream and then just be like, all right, what did we just see here? You know, and I gotta like analyze this. I gotta like, okay, why are we doing this? Why, she's been dead for 3
Yeah,
years.
and I'm sitting there
And then I'm
with the
like,
answers. Yeah,
yeah.
and
And
I'm
I'm
like,
just like, and
I want to tell you,
it
but
was
I'm foaming
so
at the mouth.
fun.
Yeah, like, I want to tell you,
It was,
I'm foaming at the mouth. Like, okay, he's gonna miss. He's gonna like turn
yeah.
left, turn right, turn left, turn right. Like, yeah,
It was so fun to like be experiencing the game for the first time with someone who has already is like past the point that I'm at, but knowing that you thought the same way, had those same like like it was refreshing because like at any point anyone could just be like, all right, just keep going with the story, you'll probably figure it out. And we're like, yeah, we all know that. We all know by the end of this game we're gonna have the answers.
Yeah.
But sometimes the fun is trying to beat the game to the answers.
Yeah.
Which is why like I made a prediction like very early in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I count them as wins when we get to the end of the game and I go, I fucking called it, you know? Like I love those moments. And like some people are like, well, don't ruin it for yourself. Like it's not ruining it for me. That's like a tally mark in my brain of like, you did it. You won.
Yeah.
Like that's a point on life. Like you discovered, you figured it out.
Like that's why when you said that and I was there, I was like, yes and no.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like yes
Yeah.
and no. Actually, it's funny too because there was one point where with my streams I was kind of behind. You passed me. I think because of my
Oh,
work.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because of my work, and then I just went. I passed you.
Yeah.
I was like, but again, I did all my streams 5 hours.
Yeah.
You had to stop yours at certain times, but it's just funny because you reached one part. I'm like, oh crap, he's already there. I'm not even there yet. Then it came to the point where I was there, and I'm like, oh, he's gonna have a good time, and then I just took off.
Yeah, I remember it was like the one weekend you were like
I didn't reach
you were
it
like
yet.
I'm afraid to keep watching cuz I don't want to spoil anything, and then you ended up like, dipping out, and I was like, honestly, like I can never be upset about that cuz I was like, yeah, dude, don't spoil it for yourself, like we're experiencing this together. And then like literally like just a work week went by. I came back on a Saturday. I'm like, what's up everybody, we're doing this. And you're like, all right, get ready, this is going to be fun. And I'm like, how much farther did you get? And you're like, don't worry about it. Way ahead.
Yeah,
like,
because I didn't want to say like at that point.
Yeah.
I think that was the point where it's like, Brookhaven.
Mm-hmm.
Like you were still in the apartments at this point. That's where it was. Like I was I just finished the apartments. I just got to Brookhaven, and I'm like, yeah, I'm like a good 5 hours ahead of you at this point. I'm like, I didn't want to spoil it for myself, but now I'm saying, okay, you're gonna have some fun because I passed it.
It was also super, super helpful to be able to like, I'm getting to the end of the stream. I have a cutoff point because like I'm a father. So, and my wife like does work on the weekends.
Yeah.
So like I do have to like get up in the morning and be like a parent and stuff. And so like I don't ever go like super, super late, past like midnight.
Right.
And so when I was getting to like certain like points, it was nice to be able to have somebody to refer to, so that like, because like my only other option was that I would either have to take a guess,
yeah,
or I would have to look it up, and that would risk spoiling, and I hate risking a spoil.
Well, that's why I tried to give it to you as little information as possible, but like by saying,
yeah,
because I go like I was going based off of my streams, because I know for me my streams, like I try to say, you know what, because we're doing an RPG, if it hits a 5 hour mark, I don't care. 5 hours, 5 hours plus. If we're doing shooters, 4 hours max. But yeah, like at those points. So when you hit the apartments, I had to be like, okay, so by the time you get to Brookhaven, you had to go through the first apartment, the second apartment, then you had to go through the actual Silent Hill apartment twice, and then you're finally out after that battle with Pyramid Head. I'm like, okay, so that's a good stream for me. So that would have been a good 5 hours. So that's how I know.
Yeah, and that's why it was nice, where I was like, okay, like after I think the first time when I explained, I was like, I don't want the spoilers, don't give me any details. Is this a good place to stop? From that point on, like you understood the assignment. So like at the end of the stream, I was like, all right, Scorpio, like, am I good here? Like, do I, is this is this a good spot that I should end in? And like you were like, hey, this is a good spot, save it for like the next stream. And like that was all I needed to know, and it was perfect. It was just the right amount of information. You weren't like, oh, there's gonna be a big spot coming up, so pause it. You were just like, this is a good spot to stop.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that perfect. That was all I needed to know.
Either that, or if I knew that there would be like a little bit of a push, I'd say, okay, you know what, hold off on stopping now. There is a little bit more. Do that little bit and
Yeah,
then
you were
stop
like, there's like another hour till the save, and I'm like, all right, I can do another hour, or like,
if you
hey, you got
can.
like
Yeah,
35 minutes.
that's why I was
Yeah,
like, if you can, or else I would
right.
say backtrack, save, and then just carry on.
Yeah, yeah. So it was perfect because I was able to maintain like my schedule with streaming, and I didn't have to like, I didn't feel like I was ever like overdoing it, but at the same time,
And you didn't lose nothing.
it was nice. It was really good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and you didn't
I
lose the
really
thing.
enjoyed the dynamic.
Hmm. Oh yeah,
Yeah, it was
that's why I
definitely
was happy to jump into your stream. Like when you start playing it, like after me, or sorry, while with me, but a little bit after
yeah,
me, like around the same time period, which was
yeah,
actually really great. It was like, yeah, that's why I loved going through it again. And then once I beat it, and then you came to your conclusion about the ending, um, I was like, yeah, I had all the answers. I was waiting for you to like, okay, what did I miss? What did I do? Like I was ready. Like the dog foam again, frosting at the mouth.
yeah.
Okay,
Well,
let's go.
that was something that actually did like crack me up. Like I like all of my laughter at the end of that was all organic because it was like we got to the end and then it was like they're just like and then this character is this and this person did this and this is why it happened and I'm sitting here I'm like when the fuck did that happen? I'm like who are these characters and you're like oh that was on a tombstone or that was if you would have gone in the library and read the newspapers and I'm like I didn't do any of that shit and you're like yeah but you know if you did you'd understood why this happened and I was like yeah I didn't just, all right pause who are these people why are these significant you know it's like I was like oh man I really did miss a lot like
Well, yeah, like for instance, if you were to hit up the apartments, like inside the apartments, there the sorry, not the apartment. One of the houses had the newspaper about the Locane kids being
yeah
killed. Billy and Miriam Locane. So yeah, so there was that story, and then the part when you're in Brookhaven in the hospital, the question comes over the air. Oh, who? Well, there was Billy Locane who got murdered, but what was the name of his sister? And
right
you're like, oh shit. When did I read that? Or the fact of the first question again when you're in the elevator. So many bodies were thrown into the lake. How many people lost their lives and thrown into the lake? Well, the answer clearly was 67. If you were paying attention, if you got to the certain, the lore was there.
yeah
Like,
it was just that it was like this little Pandora's box of riddles and I'm just
and
like
again, I have the answer here.
yeah,
I have the answer.
you're stuck in an
The
elevator
yeah.
and he's just asking you questions but I actually do want to hit a disclosure right here for anyone listening because from this point on, I'm gonna start asking questions that are going to be spoiler heavy. They're going to be end game related. They're going to be like the end. So if you have listened to this point, you've enjoyed, but you want to play this game organically for yourself, I would say pause it here. Come back to this when you've finished the game, and then we'll continue this conversation. Because at this point, you and I have finished this game, and I want to talk because I got some questions.
And I'm still going through the game currently
Um,
at the moment. I
yeah.
have it on in the background.
So are you serious?
Yeah, I have it on in the background.
uh, so all right. So we get to a good way in through this game, okay? And the one part honestly that it pulled the more of the psychological horror part on me was when you go up to the elevator and it's like no you're too heavy and you're like oh okay
Hmm.
and it's like oh there's conveniently this weapons cabinet over you could drop all of your belongings off and I'm like oh well this next part's gonna suck
Yep.
like but when you get into that elevator there's a voice and it starts asking you questions. I've been thinking about the end of this game. Who was the voice?
Hold on. Wait, there was a voice asking you the questions. No, are you sure that wasn't the Brookhaven Hospital, the one that the radio contest? That's what I was talking about.
Yeah.
How many bodies were thrown in the lake? What
Right.
is the
So
name of the?
it just says like let's play like oh we're
Okay,
gonna be playing a
yeah,
game
yeah.
kind of
Sorry,
thing and it
that
starts
was yeah
asking you a
that
bunch of
yeah that's
questions.
Brookhaven. So that wasn't that elevator scene. That because in that elevator you had to drop everything off, but there was no contest. That was for the um little locked box that you find, the
Right.
decorative box that you find in the pool. No, sorry, not the pool house. Um, the
Yeah, it was the
room.
pool house area or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
the
the
pool
in
area where you have to
yeah,
fish the key out from the drain.
right.
So yeah, so that inside that box, um that's where you find 5 shotgun shells and 2 syringes. Unfortunately,
Right. So yeah, I know for such a like it was like a puzzle for information, like an information
just
puzzle
to
kind of
see
thing.
if you were actually paying
Right.
attention to the game, because
Which
even
I was not.
it,
I cheated. You gave me the answers
well, I
100%.
gave you the option. I did give you the option to
You
say,
did. You did. I
like,
did.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
would not
did
have just
ask.
blatantly given you the answers. I would have,
No,
like, I
I
gave
did
you the
ask you
option.
for
Yeah.
the answer. But also, let's be fair. Let's be fair. At that point in the game, I had no health, maybe one like med bottle
Which
and
kind of
like
shocked me
no
how,
ammo.
yeah.
Yeah. I somehow you've wonder weaponed your way through the entire game whereas I have like no resources through
Yeah,
the entire
at
game.
that point, I had like 50 rounds of like random gun ammo and like 16 syringes at this point, and I'm like,
Which actually I gotta say, I'm surprised that you and I got the same ending. Because
um,
afterwards I looked up like how to get the
yeah,
endings and like my ending makes 100% sense
mine doesn't.
because I played yours does not. The way that I ended the game, you only get if you play most of the game in the red zone on your health. And that's just because I was shit at playing the game, not because I was going for the achievement. So the fact that you somehow got the same ending, I'm baffled.
It probably was because you'll see near the end in my streams, that's when I got hit the most, was
Yeah.
in the red near the end. And that was because of like after that Eddie fight,
Dude, that Eddie fight was a
it was
pain.
cheesed beyond belief. It was like glitch, glitch, glitch. I'm like, oh, I really thought I only died one time. No, apparently 8 straight deaths were just from that one fight. 8 straight.
Oh yeah, dude. Well, the stats at the very end of the game after the credits and everything, and it's just like you died like 56 times. I'm like, holy
I
shit! I would
know.
have
It's
accepted
like
maybe 18, but damn, like
for me, it said I only died about 10 times, and that was just because of the
yeah.
end. I'm like, I don't. Okay, the first one I died was to like when you have to test a new game to see like you have to push
Oh
the limit.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
can you fall
Of
off a cliff?
course,
Like, yeah.
of course.
I'm like, what does it look like when you die? Yeah, I
Yeah,
found out.
yeah, 1,000%. We've all done it. We've all like because it helps you learn for like later parts in the game because you're like, all right, there's a cliff here. There's no guardrail.
Is
Will I
there an
fall
invisible
if
wall?
I yeah, because like there's always going to be a part where you're going to be up against an enemy and you got to know like, hey, I'm really close to an edge. If I dodge towards the edge, is the game going to like lock me into like, am I safe if I dodge that way or is this now a new mechanic that I need to also keep in mind while doing like a fight or
Yeah,
something?
with
So
the
we've all
invisible
just
wall.
gone up to a ledge and just been like, can we? Like
Well, just like right off the start, you get an achievement
yeah.
for trying to walk through the fog. You try to walk back. Like,
Oh, really?
that's the very first thing I did is when you start off at the lookout point with your car.
Yeah.
I said, "Can you leave?" So I started walking up the. I
Interesting.
started walking right up the street, and it turned me around. It said, "You cannot leave." And you get
Oh,
your
that's
first. Yeah,
cool.
you get your first trophy. I'll bring it up when I find it. But yeah,
Yeah, that's really cool. And see, and that's why I love like, that was why I wanted to bring you on here because it's your like your method of like like the game's obviously going to have its limitations, but
yeah,
it's the what if moments because there's been so many games that have done that before.
yeah. It's the very
Whereas
first trophy. It even says no turning back now. You tried to leave
yeah.
Silent Hill in the observation deck area. I got that literally. I started my stream at 6:30. I got it at 6:54. I got it within the 24 minutes of booting up the game,
Nice.
like right after chatting. That's the very
Yeah.
first thing I did.
That's where it's at. Like it's and I think it's amazing that you immediately thought to do that because I I immediately think back to shit. I just blanked on the game. Far Cry 4, I think. There where at the beginning of the game you're having this conversation with this like super wealthy dude or whatever, and you're sitting at like a dinner table or something.
Oh, with
And then some
yeah.
and then something happens and he's like, please wait here, I'll be right back, please excuse me or whatever. And so obviously 99.999% of players, you get up and escape, and that's what starts the game.
Yep.
But there was that
What if you sit
0.0001% of
there?
players. He goes, what happens if we just sit here and wait till he comes back?
Yep.
And then you come back, he thanks you for your time, he gets a helicopter for you, and you leave.
Yep.
No problem.
Yep.
And the game's like, you did it. Credits roll, game's done.
Which was the false credits.
Yeah. And it's hilarious. And you're like, oh, that was specifically there for the people who were like, who listen to the game and go, well, what if I don't? So like the fact that you started Silent Hill 2 and just went,
yeah,
well, what if I try to leave?
Pagan Min. Pagan Min.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've 1000% of Far Cry 4. Yeah.
Yeah. So you just like, but like, that's why I think it's funny. Silent Hill starts. Like my thought was, all right, here we go. We started the game. Let's walk into the, let's go down the steps and go into the graveyard. And your first thought was, yeah, what happens if I leave? Like, just what happens?
Well, because
what if?
Yeah, because you look behind you because you came down that road with the car. Well, clearly you can't drive the car, so you're like, what if like? Does this the reason why I did that too was because also if you play the Dark Pictures anthology, which I don't want to spoil, but if you play number 2, Little Hope, so I will say each of the Dark Pictures anthologies kind of reminisce either a movie or a certain event.
Sure.
So Manamadan, have you seen the movie Ghost Ship? Little Hope.
Yeah.
Little Hope. It's all about. Okay, well, it's okay. You know what? I don't.
I can see because you want to talk about it, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
So it's like this.
Well, have you played Manamadan?
No, I haven't played any of the Dark Picture anthology at all yet.
Okay, well, I'll just say it's based like the movie,
spin-off one.
It's based like the movie, like Ghost Ship. But
yeah,
that's as far as I'm gonna go.
Well, I will say we're definitely 1000% having you back on the show because when I do play those games,
I will.
Like we're doing the dive again.
I'm already frosting at the mouth on that one. I'm like, like right now you could see it in my face that I want to say it. Like I recommended that.
Well, that was why I was like, I'm gonna put your mind at ease. Like I know what you're going through. Like you're having that like brain glitching moment. You're like, I don't want to spoil it, but oh god, I want to say this so bad. Like yeah.
Okay, but I will say because of number 2, Little Hope.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I did what I did with the first trophy of like trying to.
I love it. Hell yeah.
Because
and I mean it makes sense. Yeah. It makes sense. There's so many games that have done that, and it's just like. Honestly, I think at this point it's an ode to the developers because that means that at one point during the creation of this game, somebody said, "Hey, somebody's going to try this."
Yeah.
And if we don't reward that, like it's a slap in the face to like real gamers.
Well, there is a game out there that if you walk off the ledge and you kill yourself, you get a trophy for dying. Like
yeah, well, I mean,
testing.
even they've. And it's such a well-known trope in like the gaming community. I don't know if you've seen Ready Player One.
Yep.
So in Ready Player One, one of the solutions to the ancient puzzles is doing what you're not supposed to do in the game, and that is to just go like you're in a race, 3, 2, 1, go. Everyone floors it. He throws it in reverse and goes backwards.
Yep.
Yeah, it's such a it's such a staple in like. Gaming, but it's also one, it's a throwback to, like you said, when we grew up not having access to full, like fleshed out, guides that were just on, the phones or the computers, or like you would buy a game, you would sit down and you had to figure that shit out, man.
Or if you also enjoyed the days of Game Genie or Game Shark, the cheats.
Ugh.
everybody like
yeah.
cheatcc.com, cheat code central.
Yeah.
I had binders with that shit of doing it. Tekken 3 and everything from PlayStation 1 days, like it was so nostalgic. It was like,
See, I was totally cool with it until there was that one kid who was like, "Oh, so you like Pokemon?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I like Pokemon." He's like, "You want to battle?" And you're like, "Yeah, fuck it, sure." And then he blasts out a Squirtle level 100 and an Eevee level 100 and a Mewtwo level 100, and I'm like, "You have like 4 badges. What are you talking about?" No, I did this all on my own. Bullshit.
yeah,
The fuck out of here.
yeah,
You lying sack of shit.
yeah. Well, enter the
Don't
world of the
come in here with
cheaters.
that cheat shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, no, but when I went on like cheatcc.com and all that, like or here it was cheatcc.ca, like cheat code central.
Mm-hmm.
Um it was more after I've already beaten the game, like what you want to do. It like that to me was like the mods back in the day, like what
Yeah.
modding is. Okay, so you got the cheats now. So what could you have done to make things easier? Playing Metal Gear
Mm-hmm.
Solid, all of a sudden you pull out like a rifle that you couldn't get like at way
Right.
back when, or you're going through a wall, or you're going through. But again, I've beaten the game. What am I hurting? It's not like I'm using cheats
Right.
in multiplayer.
Yeah, exactly. And that is something that I will stick to. Like, it's almost like a gamer code.
Yeah,
No matter what the game is, no matter how long the game's been out, the first time I ever play a game solely has to be 1000% the way the game was designed to be played.
yeah.
The intention of the game has to be, and like, even, and this is probably just a dumb thing that I do, but like, even games like let's just say like Spider-Man, right?
Hmm.
Say I sit down, I want to play Spider-Man, I'm going through, right? I do some kind of side quest, I unlock a suit. I cannot put that suit on because organically Spider-Man's not just ripping through the city and then goes, outfit change. Like, no, he's got other shit that he's doing,
Y-
you know? Now if it's like an upgrade suit
Yeah.
that like has to do with the story, totally makes sense. But I'm not trying to go fight Doc Ock with a cat backpack
No,
on. You
exactly.
know,
Like
like that doesn't make any
no,
sense. So
because
like
that's just
it
cosmetic.
pulls my immersion out,
Yeah.
and I can't do that. So like I have to play like the way that the game was intended to be played first. After I've played it and have had that fun, just like Baldur's Gate 3, fuck it. Let's see what happens if I have 8, 9, 10 party members,
Yeah.
you know? Let's just see what happens, kind of thing.
But see, my problem is your problem that you just mentioned there is a cosmetic issue, unless it's story related, or else you would be
Yeah.
fully under leveled. But like you'd have to obviously
Oh, 1,000%.
depending on
Yeah.
the game.
Right,
But
right,
the
right,
Spider-Man
right,
thing
right.
would have been a cosmetic issue. My problem is again now enter the term of a completionist.
Yep.
I cannot move forward without trying to get close to 100% of that one area. So I'm playing Elden Ring right now.
Yeah.
I'm playing Elden Ring. That's the series I'm on. So here I was with my first character that I'm going up against this. Who's gonna fight a freaking tree sentinel right off the start? This idiot. Because
You do.
like how many
All the rest of us said fuck that. We went past them.
I died 20 times in my first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm like, people were like, okay, you're under level. I know I'm under level. But if I could like, to me in my head is Einstein's theory of relativity.
Yeah.
No, sorry, insanity.
Yeah, I was letting you go on that one. I didn't follow it either,
So
so I'm glad that you corrected
Einstein's
it.
theory of insanity is doing the same actions over and over and over and
Yeah,
over,
definition of insanity.
hopefully to predict an outcome.
Right.
That is my moral that I always live by with every game. So there was a
Yeah.
boss that took me 5 hours, 5 hours, 5 hours. Like I swear to God, yesterday, when I switched my character, I beat him in 2 minutes. I'm like, okay, so it was either my character that was crap or it was just my different play method. That's
Mm-hmm.
how I play. So
Yeah.
come Silent Hill, I made sure I did not leave this area. You know the streets? This is me. So if you had the map going, your grid, you go up one
Right.
street, up like you're going. This is me. I'm going up every street, every nook and cranny. I did grid searches going up and like constant before I moved on to the next area. That's why I read the
Right.
newspapers. I found the photos. I didn't find every photo, but I found like supposedly there's 26 photos to find. I must have
Mm-hmm.
found 24 out of the 26.
On your first playthrough?
Yeah, I had all these
That's
photos. I'm
incredible.
like, I don't know what they are. Well, there's a trophy that if you could get 20 all 26 on your first playthrough or in one playthrough, you'll get the achievement. I'm like, shit. I'm like, where's the last two? I don't know, but like
Right.
that's what I did. I scoured each part individually. That's why like I got those 50 to 60 round ammos like well you're dying
And
in the red.
that's what I was gonna bring up because I remember thinking like, yeah, I did a pretty good job. We'll just move on. And then I think you and I were talking about puzzles or
Yeah.
something, and you were like, yeah, this is just like the puzzle in this area when you find like this amount of ammo and like like 6 syringes in this area. And I'm like, when the fuck did that happen? And I'm like, oh, turns out I missed like an entire block of this
Hmm.
neighborhood that had like actual helpful resources.
Right, just like
I'm like,
when you
wow.
found the book and then I saw you putting the theory together, these must be the endings. I did come across those books.
Yeah, that was cool. But I will say, to be fair, like I came across the books on my second playthrough and only made that connection because I had already completed the first playthrough. I think if I would have come across the 3 books organically, I don't think I would have put those 3 things
Wait,
together.
you're talking about Silent Hill? How many playthroughs did you go through already?
Yeah. No, no, no. I'm on my second
Oh, you're on
playthrough.
your okay. No, no,
But
but I
yeah,
was
yeah.
saying
So
like my
like
first playthrough, like when I came into your stream, you were on your first playthrough. I'm like, yeah, no, I already put
yeah.
those together. I'm like, something seems odd about these books. I read those
Yeah.
books. I read each of those letters. I let it
Mhm.
like on my stream. You'll even see me like I sat there and I read. I'm like, okay, okay, and then you could smell the smoke in my head. I'm like, okay, here we go. Now, like
Yeah.
the shit that got me was the anagram. The anagram. I even sat there with chat. Like I waited
Dude,
till
I
you got
know.
to that.
Yeah, you were like, "All right, you got this is the part that I want you to do," and I'm like, "Okay." Like, I even, I think I still have it, like, because I had a note sheet that I started because I was like, "Oh, all this stuff like definitely makes."
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have it
you.
right here.
So yeah, I have.
See?
I got my little where's my
Yeah,
camera here thing
yeah.
with the anagram, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, okay, and I wrote it down, and I'm like on stream just looking at it, and I'm like okay, and I'm going through. We got one, like, like all of my puzzle solutions. The best part is your notes are so much better than mine. Mine, like, if I came back, my notes look like I was trying to write myself a note drunk the night before, and now sober me is just like, the fuck are we talking about?
Yeah.
I have 7 nurses, 2 doctors, 4 trees. Oddly enough, I actually remember what puzzle that was for.
That was
Um,
Brookhaven's. That was the paintings.
yeah,
That's to unlock the
the
combination to get the key to
the safe motel,
yep. 0451.
code. Yep. I've got 1 year, 6 pills.
1622 for the combination box on the lock
Uh,
combination.
yeah, the 7 clock, which turned out was wrong, and 2 lights, and I was like, because that was the one that took forever. I'm like, why the hell is this thing still wrong? And then I just took a guess and I got it right, and I just looked in the camera and I go, I don't. I don't know how I solved this. This is not. I don't know how I came up to the answer,
But all
which
you
is
had to
just
do
the ode
was
to what we were talking about earlier, which is like show your work. I'm like, I don't know.
all
I
you
don't know how I did it.
and
I
that's
don't
why I'm
know.
sitting there when you were getting the answers. I'm like, okay, you got the 1 year, so you got the one. You
Yeah.
got the 6 pills that were inside
Yep.
the sink. Then you had okay the
I
light.
had the 2 lights, but it was the clock
Oh, the
that
clock I was
like,
at. No, no, no. It was the.
or was it the lights? The lights was the one I was messing up.
Yeah, because it was blinking too, and you're like, okay, well, how many times is it blinking? It was blinking two, and it turned on. Blinking two, turn on. Blinking two, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, it's 6 times. No, it was 2 times. Like
Yeah. I was like,
yeah, it was even saying watch
I
the
was
light.
yeah I was dude, I was losing my mind.
And I'm like,
I'm like, I've checked these things like 8 times. It's right. I'm right. You're wrong. Like,
yeah, and then at one point I'm like, I just sat there. I'm like, okay, just try 1622, and you're like, yeah,
yeah, dude, it was rough. Um, as we kind of go to the end of this one, I really do want to dive into like the ending of this
all
game.
right,
And number one, the characters in this game, beautiful,
Yeah.
amazing
Well done.
creation, character development,
Yeah.
and like who they are, what they represent. Very, very cool. Something I want to pick your brain out before we get into that, though, is I have seen a couple of times since I have been trying to discover um, like the story as a whole
Hmm.
and everything. And apparently this was like this in the very in the original game. I wanted to know if you've discovered this also, but apparently at the very very beginning of the game on your first playthrough, right? Whether it was the original game or this one, if you look in the back seat of the car at the very beginning of the game, you can see the body with the blanket on it.
Yep.
Now, to me, I was under the impression that at the very end of the game when you beat Maria, that was Maria. But technically you like Maria wouldn't have been there, which only leaves your wife, but it's very clear at the beginning of the game you're like, "Oh, she died 3 years ago." So, she didn't die 3 years ago. That the 3 years was not her death, but her like the death of like you letting her go, like her, like she's not her anymore, you know, like it's like when someone's like slowly declining and you're like, hey, I've already mourned the loss of this person even though they're still alive already. So like it was very interesting to like see this entire story like completely come to like an unfolding. But my question is still something I don't understand, and I'm hoping you could answer my question here. I understand what Maria represents.
Well,
I
Maria was
understand the
Mary.
wife.
Yeah, Maria was Mary.
Right. But I'm like what she represented in like the realm of the game, like why you kept like trying to find, why you would like find her familiar, but like she's not anymore. But she was kind of, but she's not kind of thing, and like that constant weird like dynamic between like Maria and James. And I understood, um, you know, what the pyramid heads represented. I understood what the setting of the game represented. Who was the little girl? And I genuinely, Scorpio, I feel like an idiot because I don't understand why I don't understand who this little girl is
So
and why we
like,
were chasing her the whole time.
yeah, like, okay, that's another thing that kind of gets me. Like, I'm going based on what I think. James wasn't
Sure.
alone. He wasn't alone. That's why he met Angela. That's why he met Eddie. That's why he met Laura, the little girl. And like,
Yeah, they were all real, right? They were all in this like purgatory, right? He was
right,
just going through his own adventure through purgatory.
right. Like that's why like he came across when he came across Angela, and she was like she was so distraught that she said she was looking for her mother, that she had an abusive upbringing. She basically burnt the house down and killed her father. She wanted to commit
Right.
suicide. Like,
Which, dude, that was a messed up little.
yeah,
I was
especially
cool
at
with
that,
all the other ones. That
yeah.
one was dark as shit.
Well, especially at the turning point where it's like you see the fire, and he's like, and she's like, "It's hot, isn't it? This is
Yeah.
what I see all the time. This is what she's running from."
Dude, right?
Yeah,
Oh my god, that was insane. That was definitely a moment where like not number one when you fight the daddy table kind of
yeah,
thing, and I'm like, this is rough. Like even for like I get, you know, this is a mature game. I get that we're dealing with some very mature like subjects and
well,
shit,
it
but
was
I'm
about
like,
daddy
this
issues.
is
That hence the psychological. It was like she had a rough
it.
upbringing.
Well, right, but the daddy issues of abuse of all the categories. It was
Yeah,
not great.
no,
So that one was rough. But yeah, when she finally turns to you on the stairs and she says, "Oh, you see the fire now? Like, do you see the fire?" And she's like, "This is what I see all the time." I was like, "Oh shit, man!" Like, oh,
yeah, like she was.
this I gotta say, this game hit me in the feels in
Yeah,
like a
it
good
definitely
way,
does,
not in like
and
a oh I'm sad and everything, but like this one hit psychological thriller. This was fantastic.
it does. And even like you're saying, even the child, like the fact that she said to him like, "I have a letter from Mary." you have a letter?"
Yeah.
And she's
Yeah,
like,
you're like,
"Yeah,
what are you talking
it
about?
was 3 years ago, like when she was alive." Like, see, I think what the girl represents, like, was when Mary was alive. It didn't say if she was a teacher or something like that, but she had like she must have known this child, and so this child was like carrying that letter, and the fact that she was
Mm-hmm.
always walking around paint like drawing the things on the walls where she was the rabbit and he was the wolf, like subconsciously
Right.
like was saying that he was a villain, because supposedly I'm not 100% sure about the little girl Eddie and Angela where they fit in, because Eddie was just a straight up
Right.
psycho. He like
Eddie was a yeah. Eddie was nuts,
unless.
but I liked him. I liked his character.
But see, now like if you break it down, when you kind of analyze it, like the entire game, all those notes that he was finding, all those collectibles that
Yeah.
you were finding, they all they were all him. They like that was his purgatory. They were all him. The voice on the radio that came through your radio, that when you hear the enemies
Yeah.
in the elevator, all the pyramid heads, they like all those notes left behind were not from different people. They were all him. You
Yeah.
were
They're
in.
all like suppressed thoughts and
Right.
stuff.
That they were on his mind. So Eddie would have been his psychological side of him going psychotic, wanting to kill, or have made a mistake of killing.
Oh, that's good.
Angela, like
Yeah.
her thought about how he can't take it anymore. This is what he was seeing, like maybe at a point of
Yeah,
him
that's
wanting to give
right.
up. That's why she gave the knife. Like she didn't want to kill him, but she's like, "Will you hold on to this for me?" The little girl of like knowing that she's being chased by a wolf. Like, why always the rabbit and the wolf? Like, who is always after her? Why was she not listening?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then you have Maria, like
Yeah.
again, his wife. The fact that like you thought that he would have cheated on his wife and stuff like that, but if you really
Mm-hmm.
followed the mannerisms, every time, the reason why we got the ending that we did is because we never listened to her. If you fully listen to her, which I'm doing on my second playthrough, like I'm trying to get the different endings. If you listen to her, it's like you're not defying her, and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, that's why we got the ending. We kept defying her. We checked up on her when we shouldn't have. We kept checking the knife. We spend the most of our time
Right.
in the bloodiness. Like that's why we got the water ending.
Yeah.
Like we got the worst of the worst ending, which was
Yeah.
fantastic. Like I'd love to have the worst of the worst ending to say, hey, okay, if there's something better, but you know what, I might like this ending a lot
Right.
more,
Yeah.
because she was insane.
Um
Like at the end, he gave up. He had to let her go. He couldn't take care of her anymore.
um yeah, I just did a quick like just a little search thing with Screen Rant.
Yeah,
Give them a little shout out thing. And I love this little segment here that they say that kind of makes me feel like we were right in a sense. Um, so they're saying that where we were was purgatory,
yeah,
but what we saw, like the version of purgatory that we were witnessing, was our version of purgatory.
right.
It was a shared location, but so like Eddie, Angela, Laura, the child, were all real, but they were in their own purgatory.
Exactly.
But what was funny, or what's fun, Angela's there because she killed her dad. She's dealing with that, which is why she sees everything on fire and
Right.
abusive and like constantly,
Which we
hiding
just
and looking for her
which we just
mother,
said,
which is what
yeah.
we were just talking about. Eddie killed the football player's dog and then shot his knees. That's I didn't remember. I don't remember learning that part, but I mean, it makes sense.
The dead body
Dude was
before you fought
nuts.
him. The dead body before you fought him
Yeah.
was probably both kneecaps, where he's like, he came at me, he lunged at me, I'm sorry, and he was
Oh,
standing over him,
right.
and then that's where his psyche broke.
Yeah. So like his version is like basically just being like the fat kid who's constantly just getting bullied and
Yeah.
everything, and finally just turns into like a the shooter and everything. Which I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense fully. But I do like this little bit here, which is Laura, which actually does make me think, because at the end of the game, we do discover that whole, while he's having that, James is having that conversation, talking about how she was, hospitalized for like a long time. And then basically she was given the okay to like go home and be like taken care of and everything. Laura is in, it doesn't say it here, so I want to preface that it doesn't say it here, but it does spark my theory, which is that Laura is the little girl that was in the hospital, probably like in like the bed next to her.
Probably.
So she had the letter for James, even though she couldn't read it, probably because it wasn't like completed at the time, or like, it's like a last thought. But it does say that Laura is confirmed to be real, but Laura's purgatory is just an abandoned town for, being like left in the hospital. She was just abandoned. She's sick, she's dying, she's, whatever. She doesn't have anybody left. She doesn't see the monsters. She doesn't see the decay. She doesn't see all these things. She's just a child playfully running through an abandoned town looking for her friend Mary. And that would make sense because at one day Mary's sent home.
Yep.
So Laura's probably sitting in the room one day, comes back from like a treatment or something, goes, where the hell's Mary
And
at?
then probably
All I
dies right
have is
after.
and dies afterwards. So her last thought is, where's Mary? I'm going to go find Mary. So her purgatory is just she's just an abandoned kid looking for her friend, which
And
just makes this so much more sad.
well,
Like,
and hence why actually it makes total sense, because hence why at the end or throughout the game, every time you're like, Laura, Laura, it's not safe, blah blah blah, she's just randomly
right.
dancing.
Yeah, she's like, fuck it. What are you
She,
talking about? There's nothing
and
here.
she always draws the bunny and the wolf,
Yeah.
and then it's like, oh, do you know Mary? Yeah, and, he's like, I killed her, and she's like, you liar, you're a monster, blah. And then at that turning point, it's like, how could you do that? But she doesn't
Right.
like,
Because like to Laura, like she just went home,
yeah,
like, or she left the hospital or something. Like, it's, oh, that makes the ending like, that gives me like, I have
chef's kiss,
goosebumps right now.
chef's
Like,
kiss,
yeah, 1,000%. Yes, you get it.
yeah,
Like, it's oh my god. And it's this game. I gotta say, there are a few games that I have played where at the very end I have had like an actual like emotional reaction to, and this game hit it.
yeah.
I'm so glad that spooky season came up, and I was like, all I wanted to do was just get scared. I wanted to be scared on camera and have proof that like something scared me. And what happened was I unintentionally opened up an amazing story,
and
an
and
incredible
you also got the
story,
goosebumps you've been looking for, because now you got the chills that
dude. Yeah,
psychologically it stayed with you.
it was this game. I do. I'm glad that I didn't play it when like the original. I'm glad I never played the original,
Same.
because this truly was an experience,
Yeah.
and I loved it. Now I think I would have maybe found a lot more things if I had just played this like not on stream, because like I would have had to, I've been like, oh, I'm playing like 3-4 hours tonight, but then it's like, oh, tomorrow when I get home from work, I'm just gonna knock out a couple more hours. So like, because I was trying to play everything entirely on stream,
Hmm.
whatever I got done on a Sunday, like I didn't touch the game until next Saturday. Because Mondays we have a designated game for Monday games,
Yeah.
or for Monday streams. So Saturdays and Sundays, for those allotted time period, those are the only times I would play the game. And so like trying to like remember those things, but this was an impactful game.
It was. It was.
I very 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 much thoroughly enjoyed this game,
But
especially.
I have to ask you though, before, because you're probably gonna say we're probably gonna head off right after. But sorry to cut you off.
No, you're fine. Please do.
What was your favorite level of the game?
Ooh, um, that's really good. That's a great question. I would say, and it's gonna sound more of like a like not counterintuitive, but it's gonna contradictory. Because I I really really enjoyed playing the hospital, but only because it proved to be more tense for me, and I enjoyed being, because for some reason, like, I never had enough ammo, and I was always so low on health. And I figured out a strategy to fight all of the the encounters I would come up to, except for the damn nurses. The nurses were the biggest headache, and so like creeping around a corner and seeing a nurse and being like, ah, shit, like I gotta like dip out and move and do something else. But like that was fun. Like even though it was very tense and like I had, but it was like a critical thinking moment and stuff. And I enjoyed those moments, but I also really, really just enjoyed being able to walk through and see like an enemy that I've had so many problems with through the whole game. And then just be like, we don't have time for this. Pull the shotgun out and
Yeah.
and then be like, next, and move on. And like those were funny, enjoyable moments. So like the hospital was really, really fun for me.
Okay.
But I would have to say my favorite part of the game, I think, was was like the ending of the game, not like the end of the game, but like when you are the big long puzzle where you had to keep going back into that room to add the weights
Oh,
and everything, and
okay,
so like
okay. So
shit's
the
just crawling on
penitentiary.
the
So yeah,
yeah.
no,
I loved the aesthetic of it. It was a giant pain in the ass, don't get me wrong, but I loved that it was at a point in the game where I'm still trying to piece everything together. So like at any point, like unlocking a door was like unlocking a memory, or like doing this was like unlocking whatever. Like I love the puzzles,
yeah,
especially when
yeah.
you're presented with like the line of nooses, and you're like,
Oh, I have
you
it all
have to
written down
choose,
here.
like choose. Yeah, and it was, and those like having to solve those in real time, it was so fun.
Yeah,
That was honestly, that was probably my favorite part of the game. Like everything from that point on, it was just like the only thing that was against me was time. I knew that like I had to be done by like 12:30, 1 a.m. max. So I'm like, there was times where I'm just like, I want to keep going so bad, but like I also know that like I have to be awake enough to be a parent.
yeah. For me, Brookhaven definitely 100%.
Yeah,
Every time I walk, even on the New Game Plus, I walk into it, I'm giddy. I love it.
yeah,
That's my favorite of the entire
hell
game.
yeah,
Brookhaven. My least, you just nailed it. It was the prison.
oh really?
I cannot stand it. Once I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
dreading. The only thing I love about that prison is the noose thing. That's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, at least this time,
yeah,
when you get to that point, you've got the chainsaw, but
that's
you're
it.
gonna have like 400 rounds of
It's
ammunition. You're
600
gonna
by
have
this
like
point.
60. Yeah, you're gonna have like 60 syringes, 4,000 meds. Like
But
you're gonna be like, yeah, whatever.
well, see, and that's the funny thing, because when I fought the Brookhaven boss there, like I took a few rounds and then I just used the chainsaw and then it was done.
Yeah,
But then again, I'm also playing on New Game Plus, very easy, like the very easy
yeah,
difficulty.
yeah, yeah.
So, but again, I'm gonna get into
But you're trophy hunting, so
right. I'm
it
I'm
makes sense.
I'm platinum hunting. That's why I'm gonna get into what I'm gonna say next is with that. I'm not doing the faster than fog. The faster than fog is completing the game in 10 hours or less
Oh my God, that's right. Yeah, you already got that achievement
on the first playthrough.
for like,
And
yeah,
ooh, shit, I forgot the game is going right now. Like I said, I have it all open in the background. I'm just sitting.
yeah.
But yeah, as I'm sitting on it right now, it says hours played. I'm at the 47 mark. When I completed this on stream, I was at the 25-hour mark.
Right.
I completed
Well,
it.
and for those who don't know, the achievement you got, what is it?
Okay, so I'm gonna bring it up right now. It is called Faster Than Fog, where you complete. It says,
Yeah, honestly, it's an incredible feat to have just
yeah, finish the
been
game in under 10
given.
hours.
Yeah.
So I think there was, like right now, I'm currently working on do not use the radio and completing the game on New Game Plus. I was at one point going to
Right.
play as close as you like it, which is finish the game without killing a single enemy using ranged weapons. That's gonna be fun. So
Wow.
basically, just going back on chainsaw and just like chainsawing everything.
Yeah, just rocking
Yeah,
chainsaw, but then also just trying to. But I mean, that's also going to be really nice to know that like all of the boss fights are basically well, the pyramid one was a timed fight. The other ones you
Yeah.
have to do low
But
damage.
this faster than fog one, I still don't understand because it like I'm looking at my even the time I completed it was at 11:27 p.m. Again, I hit the 5 hour mark on that one, and at that point, it pushed me into the 25 to 35 hour range.
Yeah,
Now it says it's very rare. Only 8.9% of players got it. Finishing the game in under 10 hours. That must mean at some point when that
your
popped
time
up,
reset.
I completed the game at some point
Yeah,
when I didn't complete the game.
yeah.
So I'm just as confused. I'm like, when that popped up, yeah, I know it's weird. Even in the rowboat, like there's even one for spending
The
10
game was
minutes
just
on the
listening to
lake.
you.
Yeah. Like,
Yeah. Also, with a closing thoughts here, because we're just about here at the end of our
yeah,
time.
sorry.
You're good. Because I want to keep talking about this, and I would love to like bring this up again. Like when you finish, like when you're getting closer to that platinum completion, I want to bring back another episode.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm
Um,
already seeing at 33 out of 44 right now. All that's left is all the endings
damn.
and yeah.
I've been thinking about this because I don't know if you did this as a goof, but it has been stuck with me and it is driving me crazy. So I now that we're having a live conversation, I got to know the answer to this.
Mhm.
I got in that boat
Mhm.
and I started rowing,
Yep.
and you said, "Watch out for the crocodiles."
No, that was
And
that was
I
actually one of your other chatters.
really,
Yeah.
I thought that was you.
No, that wasn't me.
That has been driving me crazy because I was like, I was doing some zigzag
I
patterns.
think
I
that
was
was
like,
Silly
you're not
Frog.
gonna
Yeah, I
get
was
me.
laughing
It's
at
a,
your rowing the entire time.
oh my god, dude, I was like stroke,
Yeah, I
and
also
then
gave you
I'd
the tip
randomly
like
start turning, and I'm like, what are we
yeah, I
doing?
also gave you the tip that to follow that white light. But see, there
Yeah,
I came across accidentally and that you could spend 10 minutes on the lake and you could get a
yeah,
trophy. So what I did was I even said it to my stream. I'm just putting down my controller. I literally just sat there.
yeah. We're just trying to get the
Yeah,
achievement. We're just hanging out for
but
10
just to
minutes.
not
Yeah,
get bored as well, I just kept on rowing. Like, what happens if you go away
yeah,
from the light and away from the light and away from the light?
right.
You're just basically just rowing and you still go towards that light. Doesn't matter. Like
Oh, really?
even if
That's
you
awesome.
turn the boat, go away from the light, you're just like lost. You're just like, okay, now there's the light still there, and you're just going and just
That's awesome.
yeah.
So to end this episode, because I want so badly to continue, and we have to do a second episode. But your honest thoughts on this game, final review, and what would you rank this game out of 10?
Out of 10 already, I'll give it a 15 out of 10. Like it's already
Now,
passed.
damn,
Like
nice.
it, to me, I love this game. I would say if it did deserve Game of the Year, it should have gotten Game of the Year.
Yeah,
But then again, I also have Final Fantasy, which I just beat, like Final Fantasy
right.
Rebirth. Again, another Game of the Year.
I wish you could run in the game, like actually run, not do a weird light jog. But other than
That's
that,
yeah.
I
I
agree
will
with
take
you.
marks off, especially from 15. I'll probably bring it down to a full 10 because of like no lock on system, no full
Yeah.
running mechanics. Um,
Yeah, we're getting chased by a crazy murderous monster thing, and he's like,
yeah.
"No, please don't."
Oh, the best is yeah the ending of Brookhaven there where like you and Maria are running through the door before she gets like stabbed like with the spear.
Yeah,
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 but if you've watched Maria running, like she's like just
yeah. It's just this like real light jog thing, which I get. Like
yeah
it's remake from the original game. Like it wasn't a whole lot of like booking it, but like still, like I'm like move fast. I wish there was like a live count with the amount of times I yelled
move
"move
fast.
faster."
Yeah.
Like,
Um, but the
um,
wise, I
yeah,
would highly recommend this game. Psychological wise, amazing. Like if they decide to
thousand
do
percent.
remake of two, three, or sorry, if they decide to do remake of 1 and 3 and 4, it will be a mistake. Apparently, two
Yeah.
follows 4, which is Silent Hill,
Oh,
the
really?
room. Um, like I looked up all this stuff afterwards. Like I've never
I'm
played
gonna go
any of
down the
the
rabbit hole.
original Silent Hills, but they said a lot of fans would get mad if they remade 1, 3, and 4.
I did see that headline. I didn't dive down that hole yet, but yeah, I did see that headline. I was
Yeah,
curious.
like I've dove down the rabbit hole like with all these, like looking into the rants, looking into everything and
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, but
Well, uh, Scorpio, thank you so much for doing this
no,
episode.
no problem. My pleasure.
I'm so looking forward to doing the next one. As you and I have actually talked before the recording, I've got an insanely busy rest of my day ahead of me, so unfortunately, I have to get going. But what are some things that as I do for every episode, I leave the end of the episode just completely open. What things do you have going on? What things can the people listening to this look forward to? Where can we find you? Where can what's your streaming schedule? Like give us the whole rundown. Then and if you can sometime today or tomorrow, send me the links to all of your stuff so that I can throw it in the description
It's
below.
just Twitch, man. Honestly, it's just Twitch. You can find me at Twitch.tv, Black Scorpio. All I do is, like I said, I'm your shooter and RPG streamer. So if you're a fan of the Final Fantasies, Assassin's Creeds, anything like that,
Yeah.
any certain RPGs. Right now, we're going through Elden Meringue. We're serving up some slave miss with some Elden Meringue pie, like the whole shebang. I've never played
Nice,
any
dude.
Souls like game, but this year I managed to conquer Liza P, Bloodborne. Now I have to put Elden Lord under my title. Um, you
It's
you
a
could
good title.
yeah, you could basically catch me like when I'm not working. I try to aim for between um Thursday, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday type styles.
Sure.
Um, but now that I have more free time, I'm kind of sporadic. But I always
Yeah.
stream basically from 6:30 p.m. or 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to 10:30, 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, and if you are you still streaming your trophy hunting journey, or are you just on Elden Ring right now?
Right now, I'm just on Elden Ring. I haven't
Nice.
the
And
last
you're playing it from
time
the very beginning, right? Like
very beginning. Like
you
I've
have never played this before. Like this is
never played a
your
Souls.
first playthrough.
Yeah,
You're going in fully
yeah.
blind. Like hell yeah, dude. That's the best.
Like I've seen people play it, but I still don't understand it. Like I have probably
Yeah.
shit that's good, but to me, I don't know what to do. I'm only a level
Well, this one's got
18
also a super deep lore. It's not going to hit you as hard as
Bloodborne.
Silent Hill 2, but it's this one's it's definitely got some really cool lore to it.
Yeah,
So, you're going to enjoy it.
yeah, I hope so.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. I truly do
Yeah, no, no
appreciate you,
problem.
and honestly, I really do look forward to more episodes with you, more Silent Hill 2 talk, and honestly, I I'm so sorry to Xanderdog and everyone else who has suggested the picture
Dark
anthology
Pictures Anthology.
series
Yeah,
to me, and we're like, you need to play this and stuff. But
you do.
brother, you were the icing on the top that was just like, all right, like you have made this sound so good. I'm in. And like the funny thing is they're ready to go. I just have to play them now.
Yeah,
And so I'm so excited to go in through each one of those, play them and enjoy them, and then just do a full deep dive
go in
with you.
order. They have their
Oh
Easter
yeah,
eggs,
100%.
and I will tell you, they are all connected. It's not
Yeah,
like you will see the second one Easter egg, a connection. You will see the third one
yeah.
connection, fourth one connection. There's always something that ties them together because that's the way Insomniac is. They do
Oh
amazing
yeah,
jobs.
100%. Yeah,
You will enjoy it. Again, no spoilers. This was just a testament and a test run to see how like we could work with each other. That I've beaten the games. I've 100%ed
yeah.
them,
This is awesome.
and
Yeah,
like now you got someone that won't spoil nothing.
yeah,
If you have a theory, throw it out. You're not gonna get much information back. I will tell you that.
yeah. No, and I
Like,
love it. That's how I like it.
and I've already
Um,
completed Little Hope and Manamadan. I'm doing House of
yeah,
Ashes and Devil in Me as we are also speaking for my 68th platinum.
nice,
Yeah,
nice. 68 platinum. Holy shit.
yeah.
I'm going for my second one, Baldur's Gate 3.
Dude, the first one is always amazing, which should be
Yeah,
your Silent Hill 2, and then Baldur's Gate 3 would be amazing too, even to have that as a first. Like I still
yeah.
remember my first, and it was Diablo 4.
Well,
Or sorry,
my very
Diablo
first
2.
one, yeah, my very first full platinum game was For Honor, and it was just because I played it so much when it came out that it was just like there was like one achievement left to do, and I was like, well, all right, let's see what happens. And I hit it, and it was like, bam, and I was like, oh shit, like I didn't even know really what platinum was at the time, so I was like, it didn't. I was like, well, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Sorry, my very first one was Diablo 3, followed by Battlefield 4, and then Alice Madness Returns.
about it, dude, to platinum a multiplayer game is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if you want to check us out on the podcast, follow us on the TikToks. Hopefully, by this point, Disney actually did buy TikTok out, and we can keep the app. We'll see what happens. But if not, you can always find me on Instagram. My links will always and forever be in the description below. Please go check out Scorpio's stuff. It's so fun. You got to get on this train, especially to watch somebody go like organically through for the first time through Elden Ring. It's going to be a treat. It's so good.
I've already deleted my first character and restarted with a new character.
Yeah, we all have. I'm pretty sure. The first couple hours is us just going, nope, next. But yeah, you come check us out on Twitch. My schedule is every Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. By the time this episode comes out, we will already have, or no, sorry, scratch that. When this episode comes out, I will currently be doing a 12-hour stream. So if you hear this episode organically and you're like, wow, I would love to hear more from this guy, go check me out. I'm live right now
Do it.
on Twitch.
Yeah, do it.
So so go check out those links below. Once again, I'll say it 1,000 times and I'll say it 1,000 more. Scorpio, thank you so much for being
Yeah,
here.
no problem. It
You
was
truly
fun.
are a delight. I love having conversations with you, no matter what podcast we end up together on, or whether it be stream, my stream, your stream, like we all stream together. So yeah, it's one of those things that you truly are a delight to have a conversation with, and it's a lot of fun. So thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem. And yeah, and I appreciate meeting you as well, like off of Afro's
Yeah,
podcast and everything. And then I'm glad that we went through this whole Silent Hill 2 thing, because next will be when you see me about the platinum, and then after that, the Dark Pictures.
Dark Pictures. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
And every time you finish a Dark Picture, you better have one with
Oh
me.
yeah, 1,000%. We're gonna do one.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're gonna need a whole episode just to talk about it.
Yeah.
So as we say every time, do yourselves a favor. Go outside, look up at the sky, feel the sun on your face, hug a tree, high five a squirrel, and I will see you on the next one.